today's concept is direct variation, and it is very simple, and it's also not like, if you prioritize things that you learn in math, it's not very high up there. You might have one question about it on your STAR test, but you do see it on C-Scope, and you will see it in algebra, so let's just go over it. Direct variation. So direct variation is this, y equals ax. Okay, and all this means is the slope, right? Slope's the number with x after you solve for y. And basically what this means is there is no y-intercept. The y-intercept is 0. And a really important thing is that it goes through the origin. Goes through the origin. Okay? And if you don't know what that means, basically if you have a graph, then direct variation, no matter what, has to pass through this point. So it could be like that, or it could be like that. It doesn't matter, but it's got to hit that origin. Okay? There's two different things you're going to have to figure out. You're going to have to figure out if something is direct variation, and then you're going to have to figure out how to write the equation. Okay? So let's do the first thing. Is it direct variation? And then go ahead and write these two things down, and then we're going to do it. Pause if you need to, and then let's go. So is it direct variation? It's direct variation basically when you have a slope, but then there's nothing else. Okay? Just have to have a slope. So let's solve this for y. So your y, 2 is your best friend, kick this guy out. The opposite of positive 6x is negative 6x. Okay? That goes away. You're still left with 2y equals. This is nothing, and then minus 6x, that's just negative 6x. Okay? And then we divide by 2. Y equals negative 6 divided by 2, I'll just tell you, is negative 3x. So is this direct variation? Yes, because there's a slope there, but there is no y-intercept. Okay, also, real quick, I'll just show you, if I graphed it, so let me graph it real quick. If I typed in negative 3x, I know it's kind of hard to see in my calculator, and I graph it, you'll see that that line goes through the origin. Okay? So yes, it is. And another word I want you to write down is, this is the slope, but when it comes to this, they're going to give you another word. And that word is constant of variation. Okay? All that means is the slope. So the constant of variation here is negative 3. It's pretty simple. Okay? So that's it. So let's see if this is direct variation. So we solve for y. Your y, 3 is your best friend. Let's kick out 2x. 3y comes down. These things are different, so I write them side by side. I'm a math person, so I tend to put the x first. And then you divide by 3. I'll just tell you negative 2 divided by 3 is a fraction, so negative 2/3 x. And a positive 12 divided by 3 is a positive 4. So is this direct variation? Well, it does have a slope, but it does have a y-intercept. It's 4. So no, this is not, because it has that. So let's write no, because it has a y-intercept of 4. You could also graph that. So negative 2/3 x plus 4. And if you graph it, you'll see that it does not go through the origin. That it goes, you know, up here. It doesn't hit down here. Okay? So that's one thing you're going to be asked to do. Is it direct variation? And explain. Okay? The other thing that's a little harder is you're going to have to write an equation. So right now, write the equation and then write these 2 steps. The first thing is to plug in and solve, which I'll show you. And the second thing is to just write the equation. It's pretty simple. Okay? So pause if you need to. Write that down. I'm going to set it over here so I can talk about it later. Okay, so here's what this question says. Write this down. If it is direct variation, write an equation for 2, 4. Okay? So here's what I mean. At the very beginning, remember how I said direct variation is y equals ax. So I want you to go ahead right now and put y equals ax. Okay? But if I have a point, remember this is x and this is y. So the first thing I need to do is plug in. So basically, instead of writing y over here is 4. So I'm going to put 4 equals, this is a, none of these things are a, so I'm just going to rewrite a, and then parentheses, instead of x, the x is 2. Okay? So I just plugged in the y and the x. Okay? So when you're writing notes, what I would probably put is like a little arrow, and put in plug in x and y. That way your notes help you. Okay? And then we solve. So I draw my line. You're the letter, so I'm A. 2 is my best friend. I need to get him out. Side by side means multiplied, so I divide by 2. And 4 divided by 2 is just 2. So A equals 2. And a lot of you will stop here, but that's wrong. Step 2 is to actually write the equation, like an equation that you could put into the calculator. So, instead of y equals ax, you're going to put y equals, and instead of a, you told me a is 2, so y equals 2x. That is the equation. Okay? And that's true. If I plug in 2, x is 2, right? 2 times 2 is just 4. Simple. Easy. Okay? Do one more and then we're done. If 5, negative 3 belongs with direct variation, write the equation. Okay? So same thing. Y equals ax. Instead of y, the y value is negative 3 equals a, and then the x value is 5. Okay? I solve for a by dividing by 5. Negative 3 divided by 5, I'll show you. Negative 3 divided by 5 is a decimal, but me, as you know, I like fractions. So negative 3 over 5 equals a. And a lot of you will stop here. Do not stop there. You have to write the equation. So basically, I rewrite this. You can even like draw a line here. So I rewrite that. Y equals, but instead of a, I put negative 3/5 x. That's my answer. Okay? Yet again, you'll see it here and there. You'll see it in algebra. Not the most important thing you'll cover, but there you go.